Hey there everyone, welcome back. Tensuzangetsu59 here with my review of Friday the 13th Part 5.
Who the hell are you? Get out of here! Nobody likes an imposter. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tensuzangetsu59, and I've returned to take a look at the fresh start after the final chapter, Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. So after the big $33 million success of the final chapter, it was decided that even after killing off its big selling point, Friday the 13th was still profitable. The door was clearly left open at the end of the last film with the look that Tommy gives the camera. They wanted to end Jason, but leave room for more sequels with a potential new killer to take over. A new Jason, if you will. This New Beginning was intended to start a whole new trilogy. Danny Steinman, a former porn director, was brought on to direct, and the film was going to be staged as a whodunit. Taking place 5 years after the events of the final chapter, has Jason actually returned from the dead? Or is someone new really about to take up the mantle? Let's find out. The opening starts with Corey Feldman returning for a cameo, visiting Jason's crappy grave in the pouring rain. He observes as two gravediggers show up to uncover the main man, but to their surprise, Jason wakes up and murders the both of them to rise up out of his coffin. He spots and approaches Tommy and brings down a machete, only to have adult Tommy wake up from a nightmare. He's on his way to the Pinehurst Youth Center run by Pam and Matthew, who want to help Tommy re-enter society.
You're a jerk, and I swear to God, you let me out of here, first thing I'm gonna do is kill again.
It's a shame they weren't able to bring back Corey Feldman for the whole movie here, but he was too busy filming The Goonies to take part. Instead, we get the older, traumatized Tommy played by John Shepard. And even though he literally only speaks 24 words throughout the movie, his acting is likely the best of the entire cast. He does a good job playing someone dealing with severe PTSD and extreme loss. He isn't my favorite portrayal of the Tommy character, but he does put up a decent performance. While unpacking his pocket knife that surely won't pop up later, Tommy meets Reggie the Reckless, a young boy visiting his grandfather who works at the youth center. Reggie is an incredibly fun character with a lot of attitude, but can't quite back it up all the time.
Well, everybody's got a fear of something.
Not everybody.
Sock puppets!
Sheriff Tucker shows up with sex-crazed Tina and Eddie, who were caught on a neighboring property making love. Tucker wanted to return them to the youth center before having to deal with those neighbors, Ethel and Junior.
You think I don't know what those two perverts were doing in my yard?
Say it like you mean it, Ma.
Would you shut the fuck up?
These are two of the craziest characters in the whole franchise. They're these backwoods hicks who probably have a combined IQ of 80 and are just loud, foul-mouthed loonies who can't stand living next to a crazy farm.
Huh. Irony!
Later in the day, Joey is wandering around offering to help the rest of the others, but is more of a nuisance than assistant as he ruins the laundry being done by goth girl Violet and straight-laced Robin. I'm not a fan of Joey because I've always thought it was way too on the nose that he's not all there between his sloppy look and speech pattern. They probably could and should have reined it in a little bit, but they decided to go the whole way with it.
Never go full retard.
He goes over to the big, angry muscle dude chopping wood, Vic. He tries to be polite and offer him a candy bar, but he's only met with more anger and more chopping.
But I think you're really out of line.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
The paramedics arrive, including Roy, who seems greatly disturbed at the sight of the chopped-up Joey. Surely this means nothing. That night, it cuts to two random greasers right out of the 50s arguing over getting their broken-down car started. Pete leaves Vinny to fix it while he goes out in the woods to take a crap. This is no good for Vinny, as a mystery figure appears with a road flare and jams it into his mouth. In a movie with 22 on-screen kills, this is unfortunately like the second best one. We got more to see, so you can be the judge, but that's my thought. Pete returns and doesn't notice Vinny is dead, and he gets his throat slit in the car. Nothing too crazy. Return to Pinehurst, and Tommy is having hallucinations of Jason. You feel really bad for him in scenes like this, since you see the damage Jason did mentally. The rest of the kids are having breakfast, and Tina points out to Violet that she set too many places at the table since Joey and Vic won't be joining them anytime soon. This upsets the poor stutterer, Jake.
You don't set a place for a dead person.
Today, Junior?
Tommy eventually joins them along with Eddie, who has taken one of Tommy's masks to scare him. This was a mistake on Eddie's part. Over at Ethel's place, she and Junior are seemingly celebrating the murder of Joey with some disgusting looking stew. They're interrupted when a weird hobo looking dude named Raymond stops on their porch and offers to work for them in exchange for some food. This serves no purpose other than to build the list of suspects. Speaking of building a suspect list, this jumps to the cops, cleaning up the deaths of the greasers, and Roy is there again acting weird.
You talking to me, Sheriff? Huh? Oh, I thought you was talking to me.
That night, a couple, Billy and Lana, are getting ready to go to a party, but Lana has to get ready in our first of a few exploitative boob shots. You thought I was gonna really show it?
Not up in here!
Not up in here!
So while Billy waits for Lana, he decides the time is prime to snort a line of coke. Something that apparently a lot of the cast and crew were doing on set. Seriously, look it up. He gets impatient waiting, but the mystery figure appears and puts an axe into his head. Lana comes out to the car only to be confronted by the figure and gets an axe to the stomach. The next morning, Tommy is still struggling with hallucinations of Jason, while Sheriff Tucker explains to the mayor that he believes Jason Voorhees is the one responsible for the recent murders. The mayor insists Jason was cremated and that Tucker should get him a goddamn live suspect. Back at Pinehurst, the thirstiest couple ever, Tina and Eddie, go off together in the woods to have some sex, giving director Danny Steinman an opportunity to make use of his porn directing. It's not overly gratuitous, but he uses this time to show off more breasts, quite possibly the biggest in the series. I mean, they are just enormous.
Stay on target.
But you gotta admit, they're insanely...
Stay on target.
Alright, so they're doing it while being spied on by the hobo. Maybe he is really the killer. Okay, moving right along, Eddie goes to wash up, leaving Tina all alone, showing off her boobs one last time before... This is a neat death using the hedge clippers and hearing that crunch. Would have been nice to see it actually happen and not just the aftermath, but it's a cool kill. But not as cool as when Eddie returns to find Tina's dead body and have this happen. This is my favorite kill in the movie. Watching the killer tighten the belt around Eddie's eyes and seeing the increasing damage it does to him. I've said it before, but I hate eye stuff, so I think that'd be a pretty painful way to go out. Night falls and Pam offers to take Reggie to go see his brother Demon. Yes, that is his name. But she extends the invitation to Tommy, who seems to begrudgingly accept. They meet Demon and his girlfriend Anita, and I have to say that Demon is probably my second favorite character in the movie behind Reggie. He's funny like Reggie, and you get a strong sense that he actually cares about his little brother. Seriously, they're the only people here that have genuine interactions and a believable relationship. However, while they have a fun time hanging out, Junior rides up on Tommy, and after realizing he's from Pinehurst, he picks a fight. Something we know isn't a smart move.
Oh, please don't make me angry, pal. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This leads Tommy to run off into the night, forcing Pam and Reggie to leave Demon to go looking for him. As soon as they leave, Demon has a bad reaction to some damn enchiladas, leading to an outhouse duet with Anita.
Hey, baby.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby.
But when he opens the door, Demon discovers Anita with her throat slit and finds himself trapped in the outhouse as a spear comes right through the walls to kill him. This is the only death in the movie where I really feel sorry for the character. Contrast to the next characters to get it, as Junior is throwing a temper tantrum on his dirt bike, screaming like a moron as Ethel makes another awful looking stew. Junior's tantrum ends thanks to a perfectly timed cleaver to the neck. Ethel is then also killed nonchalantly with a cleaver to the face and falls right into her stew. I didn't hate these two, but I'd be lying if I said I liked them. They're just so batshit insane, it's entertaining. But it's also entertaining to see them finally shut up. Pam and Reggie return to Pinehurst, but find out that Matthew has gone looking for Tina and Eddie, and Reggie's grandfather is missing. Pam leaves to go look for the two, leaving Jake, Robin, Violet, and Reggie by themselves.
You're gonna die. Someone will kill you. Someone will kill you with a knife.
With Reggie asleep, Jake watches a movie with Robin and makes a confession to her, but she laughs right in his face.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
He heads upstairs to cry, but he too is met with a cleaver in the face. Robin heads to her room shortly after, feeling sorry about what she did to Jake, but she may get the chance to apologize when she finds him in her bed. Maybe not. The killer then sneaks in on Violet, who's practicing the robot, and simply gets stabbed in the stomach. I think I would have liked to have seen the original kill.
Jason was gonna go in for the kill. Tiffany was gonna have her legs up like this, and he was just gonna go like that. Couldn't show that back then. That was cut. Rated X.
Reggie wakes up after all of this, only to find the 3 dead bodies piled up in Tommy's room. Pam returns and rushes with Reggie to escape the house, but...
Oh, yeah!
Jason? It looks an awful lot like him, but something definitely seems off. No time to wonder though, because the big chase begins. While running through the woods in pouring rain, Pam and Reggie get separated and unfortunately come across 3 off-screen kills, including Matthew and Gramps. It looks like Jason has got Pam cornered, but Reggie takes action and runs a tractor right into him. They escape to a barn, a reference to part 3, after Jason gets back up. Pam attempts to fight back with a chainsaw, but when it dies out, help arrives in the form of Tommy. This would be an opportune time to use those karate moves you've got, Tommy.
That didn't help at all.
Luckily, the pocket knife from earlier helps Tommy get a shot to Jason's balls, and he joins Pam and Reggie at the top of the barn. Jason climbs up and assumes Tommy is dead, but Pam and Reggie fight back, even managing to push him outside, only to have a tug-of-war that ends with Tommy chopping off Jason's hand. The mask flies off as he falls out and lands on a bed of spikes. It's revealed that the killer was Roy, the paramedic, all along. Yeah, according to Sheriff Tucker, Roy was secretly Joey's father. After seeing him dead at the beginning, he decided to take revenge on Pinehurst using the Jason MO. This is a pretty lame killer reveal. It really doesn't come as a surprise since it becomes blatantly obvious it's him thanks to the scenes when he's acting all weird. They tried to build several other characters as being potential suspects, including Tommy, but it's wasted because right from the moment Roy gives that weird look after seeing Joey dead, you know it's gonna be him. I think it should have ended up being Tommy since they were trying to set that up at the end of part 4 and it could have been an interesting route to take the series. Speaking of a killer Tommy, recovering in the hospital, Tommy appears to find some sort of peace as a hallucination of Jason disappears and he grabs Roy's mask. Cause the police wouldn't have collected that. Pam hears a crash from his room and rushes in. No, that's how it ends. It wasn't a dream, but could you imagine? My overall thoughts on A New Beginning? It's fine. This is up there as one of the more controversial entries in the franchise. With the insane characters, PTSD Tommy, and fake Jason, people shit on this one a lot. But if you think this is the worst one in the series, you're out of your damn mind. I think most people hate it just cause Jason wasn't even the killer. But if that's your argument, you must hate the original. Take the Jason factor away from this movie, and I'll be honest, it's a decent slasher. It has a ton of kills, the most so far for one entry, and there's quite a few boobs. Yeah, the characters aren't the best because there's way too damn many of them and you don't get time to know them super well, but there are quite a few that are memorable thanks to how over the top they are. And like I said before, I think John Shepard puts on a good performance as a broken Tommy Jarvis, and Reggie and Demon are enjoyable. That's more than I can say for characters in some of the other movies. There are plenty of kills, but only a few stand out because you can tell this was trimmed by the MPAA, leading to quick or off-screen deaths. The most accurate way to describe this movie is sleazy. You can almost tell it was in the hands of a former porn director. He clearly wanted to focus on the money shots of boobs and gore and ignore other things such as likable characters and a somewhat decent story. I mean, I like that they attempted to recreate the whole whodunit aspect of the original, but it wasn't executed well and it had a lousy payoff. With all that's wrong with this movie, I tend to lump it in with part 3 in that I have fun with it. I didn't like it growing up, but the more times I've watched it over the years, I found a new appreciation for it. It's so bizarre, but I can't say I'm ever bored, and that's extremely important. So while the sleaziness can be distracting and the ending is lame, this is pure slasher movie fun with insane characters and lots of kills. I give Friday the 13th Part 5 A New Beginning 3 bloody chocolate bars out of 5. But what are your thoughts? Did you think it was obvious who the killer was going to be? Do you despise this one just because it doesn't actually have Jason? Or do you have a weird fondness for it like I do? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and follow my Twitter in the link below. I'll be back next week as I take a look at Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Can you take a wild guess at who's coming back? Until next time, peace.